Welcome back. We have with us our friend Karen Harris. We're going to talk about gardening in Las Vegas. But before we get started, I have a special thank you for Cheryl Barnes. Cheryl is sponsoring our show so that we can bring you great content. And when is the last time that your insurance agent went out of their way to ensure your auto, home, and life coverage was the best fit for you? And to make sure that your assets were fully covered. If you want an insurance broker that really goes above and beyond, that works for you, contact Cheryl at Home Based Insurance. We'll have her contact information on the Facebook page. Cheryl will even do a free confidential consultation to assess whether or not you have the best coverage already and whether or not she can help you. So do yourself a favor and give yourself peace of mind and call Cheryl at 702-217-5816 and get the conversation started. So, thanks. Thank you, Cheryl. We really appreciate you.
I tell you what,
What?
all that's true. She is just absolutely a wonderful person. She looks out for people.
She does.
Make sure they have the right thing for them.
She geeks out over insurance. So, that's the kind of insurance agent I want, is someone who geeks out over insurance. It's
Absolutely.
her passion. It's her passion. It really is. So, speaking of passion,
Yes.
this is our friend Karen Harris. She is a high school teacher. So everyone, please.
Thank you.
English teacher,
An
right?
English
Yes.
teacher.
Yes.
And she has an after-school project that you work on with the Eco
Yes, Eco
Club, and you have a really fun project that's near and dear to our heart, and we wanted you to talk about it a little bit.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your project.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
So I work at Western High School, which is one of the oldest high schools in Clark County. So we started the Eco Club this year, and we started initially with recycling, but our students wanted to have a garden, and that was their biggest desire, to have a
That
garden.
is so exciting to hear that they wanted a garden.
Yes,
That's
absolutely. I was
good news.
surprised. So, but my colleague who I do the Eco Club with, she actually found a grant that she was able to get for us. And together with Green Our Planet, they put in a garden this year, which was a huge, huge thing. It became an activity for volunteers from actually across the United States. They came and helped build the garden. So we have several beds. I think we have 6 beds, and then we have fruit trees that got planted as well.
Fruit trees.
Yeah.
Now, I'm thinking a lot of you are wondering about gardening in Las Vegas. Because I hear that all the time, that it's too hot, you can't garden in Las Vegas. And that's true. We probably can't garden what they can garden in Minnesota, the East Coast. But gardening is alive and well in Las Vegas.
Yes.
There's a lot of things you can garden.
Absolutely.
What kind of things have you found to grow well?
Well, the thing that shocked me the most about gardening in Las Vegas is that you can do it year round, depending on, when you plant things. So instead of being limited, we actually have more opportunities to grow. So, like the fruit trees, for example, many fruit trees, all the stone fruits do super well in Vegas. So, but
And limes and lemons?
yes, and citrus. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So that is a remarkable thing. But then herbs, I know Ray actually helped build my love for gardening. But, starting with herbs, and, I started planting basil, and then I was hooked. So,
There's nothing like going out the garden, putting some fresh basil on maybe a pizza you're making. And what I did was, for my garden, my herb garden, was I took an really old wheelbarrow, chipped all the paint out of it, and make it rusty, and drilled some holes in the bottom of it, put in some really good soil in it, and then plant some herbs in it. And every year it doesn't disappoint me.
And I enjoy the benefits of his labor because we'll be cooking and I'll say, oh, I need some rosemary or thyme or cilantro or basil. And he just walks out to the garden and grabs it. And it's so fun to have that. So anybody could do herbs, right?
absolutely.
Even if you didn't have the time to do trees or
Right.
spend a lot of time gardening, anybody can do herbs and not take a lot of time and effort.
Absolutely.
One good pointer about some of the herbs, and that is like basil or cilantro, you don't let it go to flower.
Right.
If you let it flower, then it goes to seed, so it populates itself, but then it dies.
It doesn't survive.
So a lot of people say, well, I can't grow that. Well, you just pick off the flowers and it just keeps on growing.
Absolutely.
So what are some of the benefits that you found with teaching the kids how to garden?
So, one thing I've realized with youth today, teenagers specifically, is they really just think about food as processed. That's really their first thought. Processed food, processed food. So, I actually, with our church, we had given out fruits from LSSN with the open air market.
Open air market.
So whenever there was fruits left over, I would take it to the classroom, and the kids loved it. So I thought, oh, well, who knew, right?
That's good news.
Absolutely. So then that kind of, I think, built onto we can grow our own food, and we can see it, grow from the beginning to the end and then enjoy it. So it definitely has adjusted their thinking about food.
And so I read one study that said if they're involved in creating the food, they are more likely to eat it, and then they're also more likely to consume it as adults as well.
Right.
So when we have, like for my clients, even my friends, when I'm having conversations with people, the hardest thing for them to implement with a new lifestyle is getting enough fruits and vegetables in. So if you have to get 9 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables, what better way than to teach them young
Absolutely.
to start growing their own?
Absolutely. Yeah.
How about, is there any other benefits as far as educationally that you've seen or
Well, since this is just the beginning for us, we'll wait and see. But just their awareness has changed, and it's the excitement for life and the future. As a gardener, I think you have to really be patient and pay attention to seasons and life.
The cycle of life.
The cycle
right?
of life,
kind of goes back to
absolutely.
that mind, body, and spirit, right?
Absolutely.
So we talked about that once before with the benefits of that. Want to say a little bit more about that?
So, I work at a at-risk school, and the kids have stressful lives. I don't know if just kids in general, no matter where you are, have more stressful lives, but I think, the practice of having a garden, the practice of slowing down, knowing that you can kind of just stick your hands in the dirt, watch things from the beginning as they grow, just stop getting off the technology, getting into Mother Nature, getting into the sun.
Connect with nature.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sun.
So they get, the health from just being out in nature, and then the health from slowing down and just being mindful about what they're doing.
Some of those tips they can take home too. Like for instance, if they're in a small patio situation, they can do a container garden with herbs.
Absolutely.
And when it's cold outside, if you're doing some warm herbs, you can bring them inside where it's a sunny area, or just the opposite.
Right.
If you have basil, it loves the heat.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's what we're really hoping. So we're for sure going to be doing herbs, and then our culinary department is going to use those to
that's
prepare the
exciting.
meals. Exactly.
That's awesome.
So we're not sure how big this is going to grow, but we are going to work on an extension as well. So it could get, as big as
So you
they let
mentioned
us.
that they also have a salad bar at your school now,
Right.
as well.
Right.
So when kids are eating nothing but processed foods,
Right.
I'm sure as a teacher you probably noticed that afternoon slump where they have no
Absolutely.
energy because they're not getting any nutrition.
Absolutely.
So this is exciting that first the garden, and second they're going to actually use the fruit of the garden or
Right.
the vegetables from the garden.
yeah, exactly.
say
and
fruit.
fruit.
Because you have the trees, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's so
exactly.
exciting. So how did you get interested in gardening besides your little basil plant?
Right, right. So my mother had been a farm. Well, she grew up on a farm. So, and as I was growing as a kid, we had little planting here and there growing up, but I never could do it. So I was kind of one of my goals in life. But I had gotten sick a few years ago and was really thinking about health and thinking about life changes, and watched a lot of YouTube. And I actually started searching for resources on how to garden in Las Vegas. So, and it might have been just that Ray was being so successful with his garden, and I had students who do have gardens. So, but I started looking into it, and this one website, Growing Your Greens, he happens to be a vegan. He actually started. Oh,
You know what? We're almost out of time.
Time. We got a
How
minute.
oh no!
How does time go? We're not going to get to those other questions, but you know what? I want to leave with you something to chew on.
So if you need to grow,
Oh
look
my
at
gosh!
that website.
Yeah. So it's not a challenge to grow your own vegetables in Las Vegas. It is easier than you might think. And so our challenge this week is to chew on this, something to chew on, is to make sure you're getting in your 9 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day, and just see the benefits in your health and how much better you feel.
And thank you for
Thank you
tuning
for
in.
tuning in.
Bye-bye.